All right, folks. Hello and welcome back to Radio Reflex. It is me, right time, Kennedy, and of course, as always, with my co-host Alan. Alan, how you going? How's lockdown 4 treating you?
Sorry, I think I was just blinking out there. I don't know if anybody in the same situation, but the Auckland internet hasn't been so great recently. But we'll try and get through it. Welcome. Yeah, we decided to rouse ourselves to do some top 5 undeniable picks.
Of course, this is really more so than what we think are the best 5 cards. More cards we'd want to see when we finally get to crack packs. Of course, unfortunately, we are here in Auckland, which is currently in level 4 lockdown, which means that our pre-releases are going to have to be at-home pre-releases. But of course, because the product didn't get sent out till today, unless we get Saturday couriers, it's going to be early next week before we get a chance to crack any pack. So this is just us virtually. You're looking at some virtual cards to get over the fact that we're missing pre-release this weekend. This is the stuff that we hope to see in our packs when we finally get them.
Yeah, had we been at level 1, no doubt me and Ian would have been somewhere. Probably we would have been at Card Merchant Friday night, I think.
I can't even remember who had what.
Yeah.
I had booked in with a number of ones to play it, but it is a shame that we're not going to get to do pre-release live. It's one of my my favorite times in Flesh and Blood is cracking packs on that pre-release weekend. It's always fun to see what you pull and then to try and work out what you what you're trying to play. Of course, a little bit
exactly. Or when you get to gloat because your pack has a legendary compared to the person beside you, or of course, the sour grapes when it happens the opposite way. We're like, I could have grabbed those 6 packs. Those 6 packs should have been mine. I mean, it happens all the time.
Of course, a little bit different this time with Tales of Aria. Instead of 4 heroes that has been the norm going into sets, 3 heroes this time, which is going to be very interesting. So 3 heroes, but a bunch of elements, so a bunch of combinations. Basically, while there's only 3 particular heroes, there are more than one way to skin a cat with each of these heroes in this set.
Yeah, so it was sort of back in the Vegas last weekend. Over 900 US players, and I think, I'm not sure if Sean Yang, one New Zealand player, got to play the premiere and crack packs before everybody else. 7
Chris
days.
Saying, how about a re-release seal? Well, hopefully, if we're in levels, if we're in a lower level, that is something that we'll hopefully do. Again. Yeah. That's up to Auntie Jacinda and how the rest of Auckland goes, keeping Delta at bay.
Yeah. Well, if you do get any of your product, anybody out there, if you get your product and you're willing to go online, as soon as hopefully me and Ian get our pre-release packs being shipped out, as soon as we get those, we will no doubt set up some webcam play and play some games.
Definitely looking forward to cracking some packs and playing some games. And webcam is just as not just as good, but it's a close second.
yeah.
So anyway, as we said, we are here and we're gonna list our top 5 picks that we want to see come out of our packs. But we do have a couple of honorable mentions before we get into our top 5.
But we should also say, guys, I think as Ian hinted to, we are not Session Blood. We are not Arsenal Pass. We're not even DM Armada. If you want to get the serious, some of our picks aren't necessarily going to be, steering into that future metagame. It's going to be like me. It's going to be what I think is cool. That's it. So let's go into.
I guess with saying that, let's start with my honourable mention then, because this is probably a classic example of what we're stating there. So of course my honourable mention, I couldn't go past it. it is a card that really speaks to me. And of course, that is the Ragamuffin Hat. There we are.
Yeah,
that is so cool. And
it's essentially what you're wearing. It's essentially just an older version of what you're wearing right now, Ian. So in like 20 years' time, when you grow that really big beard, that's going to be you.
I don't know, sort of maybe a cross between me and Keegan Wells, maybe.
Yeah.
And of course, this is a headpiece generic equipment. Instant destroy Ragamuffin's hat, draw a card, and put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. Activate this ability only if you have one card in hand. So it's basically just card filter. Really, trying to literally, you're trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat with this card.
Yeah, but I like the idea that this, it's because if it was just no restriction, it's not that interesting a card. Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, it's not that interesting card. Like I like the restriction. You have to have the one card in hand, so it's just it doesn't aid decks. Like say like big wizard decks going off on their top turn or anything like that. It's just really cool. I do like that restriction.
I think this is a solid choice in draft and sealed, though. But like quite often, you will you will have some awkward hands, or perhaps in like in a low cost curve attack deck, if you've had to block with 3 cards and you're just trying to fish for that zero attack card off the top, it's another good way to use this. Again, as I said, more for the art than necessarily the playability, but that is my honorable mention before we get into top 5.
Yeah, but one very point is just with this card, it is put that card from your hand on the top or bottom of your deck. So that really makes it interesting. I think that adds like an extra element that a lot of those cards don't have, because it gives you some more control.
And again, possibly if you don't have the legendary for Azalea, the opportunity to set up a big arrow if you've gone pump, one card left in hand that you want to shoot off, use the Ragamuffin Hat, put it on top, use Azalea's ability to put it in your arsenal, and then swing with a big dominated arrow. Would be a great way to use it. But again, as I said, not necessarily a meta-defining card, just a very cool-looking card.
Well, you know what format that I'd love to see us play, when we're out of lockdown, is to play more Pauper, and I think Ragamuffin's hat could be a great Pauper card.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get to my honorable mention, which is actually something you're wondering, why is this not number 1 or in my top 5? And it's because I don't feel like it. But the main reason, all right, yeah, so this obviously is a weapon everyone's going to be in love with, because this is the weapon that Lexi is, holding in her art, and it is Lexi's two-handed bow, and it has such a cool name, Voltaire, strike twice. That's cool. But what I really enjoy about this card is that it's doing something that, again, is done for the first time. Like, when Arcane Rising came out, we had the first weapons that didn't actually attack, Kano's staff, and of course Death Dealer. But like, this is the first time you like that text twice per turn instant, and there's no other. Like, obviously Dorinthia can attack with Dawnblade twice, but you have to run through some hoops, and this is just twice per turn instant. First of all, it's instant speed. It doesn't break your chain. You can pop it in anywhere. That's really amazing. And unfortunately, Azalea can't make use of this, but this seems incredibly cool. Obviously for Lexi, and 2 zones for Lexi, +1, go again. So it makes it feel like this also caters to like Ranger going wide and tall at the same time. Need to get that extra attack in.
Yeah, or just having the utility to do either, depending on how your hand is set up for the turn, which is quite nice, because often in Azalea, you had that sort of mid-range Azalea build where you had a lot of pumps, but sometimes you got your 2 Ravenous Rebels and an arrow, so you wanted to go wide or something like that. So yeah, a lot of versatility. Obviously, very much it is a majestic. So and it definitely warrants that spot. So very
Yeah.
cool. And of course, I am looking forward to seeing Lynette. I know has already got her cosplay started and started
Yeah.
making this bow. So I look forward to seeing that live in person
Well,
when we can
I
finally
assume
get back to some events.
I assume Lynette will just cosplay this with actual electricity flowing through all the pieces. That's what I'm figuring, Lynette. You've got a lot to you got a lot to do, but I have faith in you, Lynette. I want to see that, none of those pieces attached, just sheer lightning holding it together. So, Ian, let's go into your fifth place. If you could remind me, so I can bring up the image. What was your fifth place?
So fifth place. This is the big shield, the legendary shield, Rampart, the Ram's Head, Rampart,
Wow.
hard to remember the full name of it, but if you bring it up, here it is. Rampart of the Ram's Head. It is just a beautiful, beautiful looking card. Of course, it is the legendary Guardian equipment. Whenever you defend with Rampart of the Ram's Head, you may pay one. If you do, gain +1 a defense until the end of turn. Just so good. And of course, one of the first offhand equipment. So again, another new feature coming into Flesh and Blood through Tales of Aria. But more than anything, I just want to get this card and put it in a slab and just have it on display. It's just such a beautiful card.
Yeah, this is amazing. Again, one of the reasons I like that again is it's bringing something new to the world of a whole offhand. And one of the really cool things I love about this is obviously like with Oldham is for anybody else in the Fab universe, this would be a two-handed shield. You'd have to hold it. That's the only way you could hold it. Whereas for example, Oldham and no doubt, Bravo, because it is just a Guardian equipment. They can just hold it. They can just hold it there and swing with another thing. Anybody else, this would be like a tower shield. I think they kind of call it. So, and it's just phenomenal. And also, the other thing is I cannot remember the name of the card, but there is that Guardian Aura that increases the stats on your thing. So, like automatically, this with that out and you're defending, this is on 1. When you defend with it, so you get a free defense if that's is it like Forged something?
Forged for
War.
Maybe
Cal Forged 4, this and Forged for War. And the other thing is like I don't know.
Although I don't know if I don't know if this works with Forged for War because it's not. Is it because Forged for War is armor? Is it not?
Oh, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't.
No,
maybe
technically it is equipment. No, it is equipment. So I mean, again. But as Cal said, he can't wait to play Dash in person with Ram's Head. I was like, absolutely, that pesky reload is gonna really hurt them.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that also comes to mind, if your opponent breaks the chain, then you get to defend with us again, and you pay 1. It'll go from 1 to 2.
That's what we're saying with the chamber. Of course, reloads the pistol. So Dash players are not gonna be happy to see this across the table from them.
Yeah, well, I don't know if everyone's seen, but Matt Rogers put up a very sorrowful video of him putting Dash to rest after seeing this card. So if you're going to take it from Matt, unless he's just just fooling us. He could be fooling us. He could be back with back Dash in any time. But yeah, this is and just that big art, that huge shield on it. It's
that extended art is what one of the reasons that I really looking forward to hopefully cracking one of those in first edition, because it's going to look beautiful. So Alan, what is your number 5?
Okay, well my one's a bit of an odd one because obviously it is similar to like another card out there, and it has its disadvantages and pluses, but it's Rejuvenate. So I picked this early on when I was, I spent some time last night just refreshing myself with a spoiler, picking up some of those cards because I can't actually remember this being spoiled by a big anybody on YouTube or a big site. One, it's an elemental action, so it's playable by obviously all of our heroes. And like I love Sigil of Solace, and this is like the red version, just like Sigil of Solace is a gain 3, and if you are fused this turn, you may play it as an instant. So obviously we don't know how fuse is going to play out, but assuming the decks can fuse easily enough, this is guaranteed to be an instant most of the time. And it has a cost. It does cost 1, where Sigil of Solace is 0. However, there's those times where Sigil is stuck in your hand, and you're like, like this. The fact that you can block, this does have some blocking action.
Like I feel like the paying 1, but getting 2 defense is a legitimate payoff that I'm happy to do, because sometimes like a lot of people are like, Sigil for 3 is like blocking for 3. Well, it's not when hit effects are a thing.
So that's a big thing. Sigil of Solace can gain you that life, but if your opponent has a really phenomenal, like a Sigil is not going to prevent you from being crippling crushed or mulched, for example, or any of those other combinations. And sometimes you might just need that too. The main reason is look at that phenomenal art by Simon Wong. In the frame, in MJ's frame, it's just beautiful. Look at those creatures. Just it's a life gain card. It just looks beautiful, and like maybe it's not going to break the metagame or anything like that. But I just think this is a very cool card, and I hope various elemental fuse decks hopefully will play this.
Yeah, and definitely. And life gain is always good in sealed as well. Like when you're not playing with optimal decks, gaining 3 life here and there it's never a bad thing in sealed or draft. All right, moving on to number 4. My number 4 is Exposed to the Elements.
Let me just grab that for
that
you.
one up.
I think I have a. I'm going to bring up the special, beautiful tiled version that I know the team worked so hard on. Here we go. Now, did we like? Let's go. Let's think about the biggest reaction to this card. Now, what did Jordan say about this card?
Who knows? I mean, it's only one of 2 things, right? But what I really like about this card is it is a blue pitch, which is obviously going to be a lot more important and we've seen with various things like frostbite tokens and various things in the set. You're going to have to run a bit more blue, especially in sealed. But of course, this is Earth or Ice fusion. If Exposed to the Elements was fused with Earth, with an Earth card, put a -1 defense counter on target equipment. If Exposed to the Elements was fused with an Ice card, destroy an equipment with 0 defense controlled by target hero unless they pay 2 resources, which that can be quite a big headache for players, and it's quite a cost. Quite a cost, especially in sealed, and especially when you may only be wearing 1 or 2 really good equipments, either having to pay 2 to keep it round or losing it off could swing games. And again, it's just a very beautiful card. I love the artwork on it. That border looks sick. I just think this again is another card that Guardians and stuff will look at moving forward. They have in Constructed and stuff. They do have stuff that messes with -1 counters on equipment and stuff like that. So it definitely could be an interesting add-in into Guardian decks and Constructed as well.
Well, it's funny you say that because, of course, the actual card art has a mangled tectonic plating on the Arts Guardian. But one, like this is an instant, so like can you get when an opponent's down to lower cards in hand in the middle of a combat chain, is this a real moment where you can kind of like gotcha get them? I'm not sure how that plays out, but you get 2 effects if you're fusing with both, if you're able to get both fuses off, it's quite significant being able to get both those effects. And I suppose isn't the Goodbye Snapdragon Scalers? Isn't that
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's why Jordan was so upset. He was like, "Goodbye, goodbye, Snapdragon Scalers."
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a few zero cost equipments that do see play that are not going to want to see that come out onto the field. So, what do we have as your number 4 there, Alan?
Okay, well, where's my number 4? Again, I have a beautiful tile. Big thanks to our creative team for getting all this stuff out so we can now use it. But it is Deep Blue. A spicy little common equipment that I can't wait to see in Cold Fall. I can hardly wait to see it in Rainbow Fall. This is going to be great. It's a chess piece. It's generic action. Put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. Destroy Deep Blue. Gain 3 resources and go again. Now, I don't think this card is going to break any current metas, but I love one. I just love This is a bit like the Ragamuffin coat. Look, I mean, this man is phenomenal. This man, I love a great waistcoat. When I was younger years, I used to always wear a waistcoat because I thought that was cool. And it's probably not, but this is a beautiful piece of art. I just love that, deep blue, but I do like the effect. Again, I really want to see some pauper play, and I like this idea. You're looking at your hand, and maybe you've got an all red hand. Choose one of those cards, put it to the bottom, and suddenly you've got enough resources to go off in your turn. I'm not sure if this could be kind of something that you could combo out a turn. I'd like to hope this is this could smooth out some bad turns. But yeah, I'd really like to see some pauper, and I think this could be a very cool card.
It does also help you set up the bottom of your deck as well for the end game, which is another nice connection to it. But you're right. Yeah, as you said, it's a very good to help in those situations where you hit that four red hand and you're like, oh, what am I going to do here? This is going to at least help you out one turn to smooth that out a little bit. And again, that is something that definitely can happen in sealed and draft. I like it.
I can see people cosplaying Deep Blue or whoever Mr. Blue is. I'm going to call him Mr. Blue from now on. So maybe one of these days I can cosplay Mr. Blue. He's all right. Well, I need to get some work done because he's got a finely manicured face instead of this big pile of
instead of the
scrambly
the level 4 lockdown special.
Sure. Yes. Sometimes in our morning meetings, I'll often just brush my hair in the morning meetings because I'm just got up and I'll run the brush. And I did have a little comb. I can't find it, but
it's probably in your beard somewhere. Probably.
Yeah, it might be. There may also be some lunches and dinners contained in here, but that's okay because we're all at home. Nobody can see us. Nobody can see the stains on our hoodies at the moment. All right. Well, let's. What are we rocking into? Your third, halfway.
My third, which is Inspire Lightning. Now, if you bring that up,
let's bring up this bad boy. There's, this is one of the cool things about the set is, bringing down the gods of thunder and lightning.
This more than anything is just because the artwork is sick. I mean, this in foil is going to be amazing. It is a common, and as we said, it's not always about our picks are not always about how powerful the card is. Sometimes it's just a really cool looking card. And of course, here we are. Inspire Lightning. If it was fused, deal 1 arcane damage to target hero. So again, within sealed, it is still very good. Of course, we know that there's not a lot of arcane barrier in this set. So anytime you can drop some arcane damage, you're going to be doing well. And just very cool.
Well,
if this isn't a playmat at some stage, I think we've dropped the ball here because it is a very cool looking piece of art.
Yeah, it's one of the things. Sorry, I actually pulled up the blue version of it, and this would actually look more intimidating in the red version of it.
Mm.
But like one of
Which
the
does more.
yeah.
Does that do more arcane in level 3?
Oh, you should check that. I assume it must do.
It probably does.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So and one of the other things I think to mention about it is again another favorite format of ours. It says deal 1 arcane damage to target hero. So again, if you're on playing UPF, and I understand there was a 20-player UPF event at Vegas
Oh,
that
really?
people were playing in. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, I don't know how long that took. Um, like again, like can you imagine a 20-player event and you're
Oh,
player
I love
1
it.
and
I'd love it.
player 10 on the other side is like, you're dead. I got you. I did. Look over here, and you'll be like, nah, bro, that can be happening, but it's target hero. So
Yeah.
so be aware when that rune, the elemental rune blade, has another way, especially if you're the person that decides to skimp on your
Arcane
arcane
barrier.
protection and
Yeah.
UPF. Yeah, you could be being dealt to.
Yep. No, very cool. And again, as I said, just the art. This is the sort of artwork that I will probably look to see if I can't find a print of it
Yeah.
at some point. It'd be very
Well,
cool.
one really cool thing I noticed about the art, and having a look at it on the scale because I've got my big monitor here, is
Yeah.
it doesn't just look like the lightning is like blowing away the cliff. It's almost like the little bits of lightning are going into the hill and actually lifting it away. Like it's
Right.
quite a phenomenal piece. And I love obviously we love art where you can hit up a few different, when there's something more interesting, like all little bits and pieces. So my actually one of the things about the card I've chosen for my third tip is I should have tried to check who designed this card. I have this random feeling it could be Chris G designed it, but maybe he'll tell me I'm an idiot and he'd never designed anything like this. But I really like this card, Blink. Again, phenomenal art, and maybe again it's a lightning card, so maybe we are a little bit skewed towards lightning for our picks. But yeah, I really like the idea of Blink, lightning instant, no cost. It pitches for free, and it's just like gain 1 action point. And
So
I
good.
have no idea where this fits in, but just being able to instant speed an action point so you don't break the chain, take your opponent completely off guard with it. Yeah, I don't know if it fits anywhere, and also just love the name of it, Blink, which is also a name of a famous Doctor Who episode as well. Very famous one. This is just cool.
And the
I
name of one of the exiles in
yeah.
Marvel Comics.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So yeah, this card just seems so open with promise, and like I feel like well, as long as there's lightning heroes in the future, that this card might be kind of like like a staple for forever. It's kind of like Snag. Snag is that card that can always be good. Like it's a kind of a safety valve for things that come up in the future. This is narrower because it's obviously lightning rather than Snag's a generic. But like as long as there's future lightning heroes, this could pop up in all sorts of places. I mean, action points are your most precious resource in a way in any game.
And also catching people off with instants is always good because they can do all the maths and then you catch them with an instant, especially if you crack it out of the arsenal or something like that. It can swing turns and swing matches. So very cool, very cool.
Right.
So coming up, my number 2, which is a bit surprising because not a huge Guardian fan, but yeah, this card just spoke to me, and that is Awakening, and a very cool card. So again, Earth Fusion. If you have less life than the opposing hero, create a seismic surge create seismic surge tokens equal to the difference. If awakening was fused, instead create twice that many seismic surge tokens. Again, first thing outside of tectonic plate that makes seismic surge tokens, which is cool. And then the second part of this is search your deck for a guardian attack action card with costs less than or equal to the amount of seismic surge tokens you control. Now, so that's interesting. So it's not the amount that was created off awakening. It is the amount that you control. So if you've already created one off tectonic plating, your search can be one better. So you reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So I think this is going to be super good. I mean, anytime you can tutor a card in any game is good. The artwork, again, love the artwork on this. That sort of elemental earthquake type look of the guy sort of stranded on a rock. Yeah. Very cool. It's a blue pitch. It's got no defense because it is an instant, but still blue is always good in Guardian. And yeah, as I said, tutoring is always good as well. Yeah. So I think this is definitely going to be one that sees some play in Oldheim.
Yeah, well, it's quite phenomenal. I just like the idea that you can take some damage on your turn, because if you can, it's crazy. If you can, say the difference is say you take a big turn from somebody, maybe like a ninja player, they get you with the last attack for 4 or something like that. Create tokens equal to the difference. That's big. If you take I don't know, obviously maybe it's not so great if you're behind, but if you can manage your life and drop by say 4 and then play this.
Yeah, and this is definitely going to be a case of players who are playing against Oldheim. If that last attack on your turn and they go no block, you'll be like, bugger. I know what's coming.
Yeah, exactly.
When they take damage with a handful of cards or something, then it is interesting. And I mean, we've both played Kale enough to know he likes to keep his life high, but then he will happily take a big turn of taking damage to swing back extra hard against you. So I think that is definitely going to be the case with Awakening.
Well, I think Kale might be totally in love with this card if it had been straight Guardian. If it had been the different, just simply just a difference in life rather than you having to have less life. Can you imagine that? Because of course, Elemental Guardian can still play Guardian, can play Guardian, Guardian cards, so you can have all those life buffs. But I just think often Kale just
Kale, here it is. It was like Towering Titan into eat heaps, play Awakening into rouse into whatever the threat is. Yeah, that's a big play.
So usually you have to wait to Kale's turn before he destroys you, but this time he gives you some advance warning before he destroys you. So I mean, this must be the politest Guardian card. It's like, yep, gonna get you, but I'll let you know now. All right, let's get to I actually number 2? I'm kind of going to cheat. The reason for this is me and Ian have actually chosen the same card for our number 1. So I'm going to cheat here and go with 2 cards. As hopefully I brought both of them. Yep, I've got both the images here. So I'm going to cheat with 2 cards, and then we'll go to our joint top pick. We have the beautiful Tome of Harvests. Now, I don't know if this card is OP, if it's terrible. I think some people are like, oh, this is so OP, and some people are like, well, no, it has value, but this is a card that says draw 3 cards. Draw 3 cards is as far as I'm concerned, is a magical phrase. The second reason why it's such a magical phrase is the artist is Mark Poole. Mark Poole was one of the original artists from Magic the Gathering, and one of the cards he's most famous for is Ancestral Recall. Ancestral Recall draws 3 cards. So it's amazing that we get to have Mark Poole associated with another draw of 3. And we have always been a big fan of tomes, and this is quite a hefty tome. It's it's a pitch 3. It's an earth action. It costs 3, so it does have a significant cost, and you do have to put a card from your arsenal on the bottom of the deck. But again, it's got go again, and it has draw 3 cards on it. So that's significant. But that beautiful art,
yeah,
just,
I mean, and it's
amazing.
one of those cards that, especially if you've been like either Briar or Oldhim, if you've managed to get through your opponent's turn without say you've got a defensive reaction in your arsenal and you've managed to get through their turn without having to use it. Actually putting that defensive card on the bottom of your deck for later play is not that big a drawback. So and especially draw 3 is always solid.
But
really
but basically
it
also
does help you
go
out.
again. Because
Well,
obviously some of the other big draw cards like Tome of Harvests and stuff like that is like you have to either have the extra action points or set it up off a card that has go again.
Yeah, or something like
something
like 3 of a kind where like you get the draw, but it has restrictions on what you can do afterwards with the card. So definitely just draw 3 and be able to use them. I mean, what I wouldn't give to be able to play this in a brute deck on a Bloodrush Bellows turn would be amazing, but it's probably why it's not a generic card. Yeah, no, excellent. So again, and of course, obviously, the throwback to the Magic Gathering card. Of course, we know where we've come from. Looks like Alan has frozen up a bit there. Let's give him a second to.
Sorry,
there
my internet. Yep, here we go. Sorry, my internet. So again, I'm cheating, and this is my other part of the other part of my second pick. It's Channel Thunderstep. So you'll already know this again. It is illustrated by Mark Poole. So when I initially heard that Mark Poole was going to be doing some cards for us, I was over the moon, and being able to have him do work for us. I can't wait to have this card. It's a lightning action aura. I mean, I don't think I've actually read it. It's just, look at that. It's beautiful. Like that the landscape, the furious cloud, but like the cloud is both dark and light. You've got all these different colors hitting the ground. It's kind of amazing. So, but again, it does actually do something. It's go again, and whenever you play an action card, you may pay 1 resource. If you do, it gains go again. So that's pretty. I feel like that's pretty significant, having an aura that lets you. I mean, it is obviously a little bit resource intensive. Like, I'm not sure how many times you'll be able to pull it off. But it also does have the really interesting, at the beginning of your end phase, put a flow counter on Channel Thunderstep, then destroy it unless you put a lightning card from your pitch zone on the bottom of your deck for each flow counter on it. So the thing is, this will, depending on how you manage it, this could stick around for a number of turns.
And it'll be interesting to see if we see because obviously all the heroes in Tales of Aria do have 2 elements that they can use, but something like this may lean you towards playing like a mono lightning deck just to get optimal advantage out of it, possibly.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty, and also the other thing is it's not legendary or anything like that. So you can obviously, there are a few powerful cards that are legendary. You can run 3 copies of this in your deck. It's got 3 defense, which is great. Obviously I think it would be overpowered if it was like pitch blue. So pitch yellow probably feels right for this. So yeah, so I think it's a pretty strong card. But again, like, I'm waiting to those people, the Session Bloods and the Arsenal Pass and all those guys to, like, to see what they're brewing up for for the list. Now, Ian, since I picked this as well, but it's your turn. I feel you should do the announcements on this and we didn't organize this before because I chose my picks. I got my list together last night, and I didn't communicate with Ian until today, and we went for our picks just before this. So yeah,
Yep.
this is the Radio Reflex. Bang bang. This is our surefire hit.
Our surefire hit, and of course, Seek and Destroy. It had to be a Ranger card. People know my love for Ranger. Obviously, I got to my 500th tournament win playing Azalea, and I look to get a few more tournament wins with Azalea rocking this. Of course, it is a Ranger action, so it can be played in both Lexi and Azalea. Just so good. Your next arrow attack this turn gains +3, and if it hits at the beginning of the next end phase. If it hits at the beginning of the next end phase, they discard all cards in their hands and destroy all cards in the arsenal. That is just bonkers. Yeah. Like, Chris agrees with us. Insane card. I mean, just really good. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's as powerful initially as like. It's not. It is definitely backbreaking, but it's you're not going to get in a lock or anything from it, but still just really good. And the fact that it's a zero action to play. +3 is always solid. I mean, the only way this card could really be any better is if it had reload, which is probably asking a little bit too much. But definitely, this is the sort of card that I can see replacing Nimblisms in a current Azalea build and stuff like that. It really is is super solid.
I just think I really like the base rate of giving your next air attack +3 for 0. I just think that's fine. That's not bad itself. And your opponent really, +3 on any red arrow is pumping it up quite significantly. And if it hits, it's got a big effect.
Brutal.
Yeah, and the other thing,
it's super good. It's super good late game against Chain. If they've got a bunch of Soul Shackles out, if you can get rid of their hand and they've got nothing to pay for the stuff that gets banished to their zone, that is going to be super handy. A lot of it's absolutely not that it's a hugely played meta card, but this card absolutely hoses Livia late game. They can't get rid of blood debt by not having a card to banish. It is pretty brutal against a lot of the shadow players.
But the other thing is Kevin Siddhartha, who did the art. Oh, sorry, I hope I pronounced his name, or maybe it's Siddhar. Oh, I'm not going to butcher it anymore. But I love. There's nothing better than a card that tells a story. I'll see if I can just magnify this a little bit for viewers. Let's see if you can see. I'm going to go right up. There we go. Is this cool? You've got Azalea, Death Dealer there. You've got her little calling, the little card just tucked under the Death Dealer there, and she's pulling on the gloves, and of course you can see hope there a little story that somebody is about to unless she interacts in a second is going to get the wind knocked out of them. What actually looks like they're beating up on the town nerd, to be honest. Actually, maybe Professor Frink. These guys are beating up. This is Kearney, Jimbo, and Dolph beating up on Professor Frink in the township. So so well done to Kevin. This is like a really cool, evocative piece.
Yeah, I mean, again, reminds me a lot of I really love the Azalea cards, like Remorseless, where you just see like this is like a precursor, whereas like Remorseless, you just see the aftermath of it and stuff like that. And again, I love the artwork. I love the design of the Azalea cards. Just very cool. And had to be our number one.
And if you're watching and of course have a new daughter, she's she's not that new now, she's 3 months old, I think. But she of course is Evelyn Kathleen Azalea Hale. So I've always I must admit I have gone to James. I think James, funnily enough, James was the first person that I told. I think I told that I was going to call my daughter Azalea. So I was like, James, you have to make sure. Azalea needs some buffs. Please. James was like, yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. So I can have to thank James for such a cool Azalea card.
Yeah, and luckily she was a daughter and not a son. As I was strongly in favor of, if you had a son that you'd have to call them Reiner.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I'll review if Evelyn had been a boy, she would have had the middle name of Bravo. But Guardian doesn't need anything extra at this point. I would have been like, yeah, Bravo. What would I hear? Would have been James Lester Bravo Hale. I think would have been if the other way around. But yeah, no, I think this is a top card. We haven't even talked. We've been too busy.
From Kale there.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'll tell you some funny stories. Is because I actually pitched a lot of names before Azalea. So I actually pitched
the classic. You overreach. So when you reel it back in, it sounds more.
I pitched Prism, but Jess is like, it's a bit too flaky. I tried to get Leviah, but she's like, one, she's a monster, and Leviah sounds like a lady's female parts. So that didn't go. And then I was like, oh, what about Dash? And then Jess was like, well, Dash is fine, but what people are going to do is think that your daughter's name is like Kathleen Dash, not the actual word Dash, and that could lead to confusion. And then I pitched finally Azalea. And Jess was like, oh, well, and Azalea is a plant as well, and she liked the ring of that. So, yeah, that's how we got. So there was a lot of names pitched as well. Like a boy, Viserai got thrown out the window pretty quick. So, yeah.
Big Vis.
yeah. Oh, to have a son called Big Vis. Oh, well. Roads not traveled. Not traveled.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, that is our hot take. Obviously, meta defining stuff that you came here for. But we, as we said, we are here for what makes us enjoy the game, and that is cool art, funky abilities, and playing cards that we enjoy. So that was our top 5 picks. If you want to leave in a comment what you're most looking forward to seeing, that'd be great. We're looking forward to, obviously, as we said, we're in lockdown 4, so we're not going to be able to get out to pre-releases. So we will be living vicariously through the community. So this weekend, if you're cracking packs, throw up your pulls on the website. Jump on our page, show us, show off the sweet stuff that you guys pull. Thanks a lot, Chris. Always fun having you on board with us as well. Main thing is enjoy the new set. It is going to be absolutely insane. Can't wait to draft it. Oh my god! I mean, I'm gutted I'm missing Seal, but man, I'm looking forward to drafting this set. And of course, all you sort of more competitive players, it's a very short window until nationals, so you've got to start putting your thinking caps on, and got to really look forward to seeing how these new characters shake up the meta, and see exactly what they are. Again, this set, no generic cards, so not a lot of help for the already established characters. So it's more a set that new stuff's going to come out of. So very excited to see how these characters hold up in the current meta.
Yeah, so my last thoughts is if you are in countries that are less locked down, because even our fellow New Zealanders outside of Auckland, they are in level 2, and I know there are stores, there's multiple stores that don't have the space to run events under level 2. There are some stores that do that are big enough, but very simply, if you're outside of Australia and New Zealand, good luck on your pools this weekend. Even better luck for when your boxes arrived on release date the following Friday. Hopefully, maybe me and Ian can just do some. Maybe next Friday, if we have some product, we can just do some we can do our own box openings. I always get my daughter to to help out with the box openings, but good luck on whatever you pull, and start building.
Yeah, enjoy it. This is always the fun part, is that see what your box brings and jump into a new something new. So again, thanks for joining us. Enjoy Tales of Aria. It's going to be a wonderful set, and as always, wash your damn hands.